Okay, last week we looked at duties of servants to masters. This is all one section. It has to do with responsibility. Uh, this section, chapter 3, verses 1 through 6, has to do with the duty of wives to husbands. Now, a lot of times women get upset over this, and they ought not. Feminists play too big a role in our thinking over the past 50 years, and that's a shame because they twisted everything around and made good ugly. It's like motherhood. Motherhood's supposed to be a great thing. Honestly, the queen of the house is the way I always looked at Mama. I know that's the way it was in my house. That's the way it was when I grew up. The best gift we got is our mamas. And why that was supposed to be a shame, I don't know. But they got into a lot of people's heads and got our thinking all twisted around. And so when you talk about biblical matters, which deals with first century morality, you get into a lot of trouble with a lot of people. And I don't want to make anybody angry, but what we're going to talk about is what God's will is. It is God's will, and that's what we want to know about. Wives, likewise, be submissive to your own husbands. Be submissive, be in subjection to. Huh? Oh, I forgot that little one. I'm not picking up. Oh, can you get that for me over there, honey? I got the little thing that goes on the doodad. I think it works better without it. All it does is fall off and get me into trouble. Okay, is that better? Huh? Okay. I can't believe you really wanted to hear me. Wives, be submissive to your own husbands, that even if some do not obey the word, they without a word may be won by the conduct of their wives, when they observe your chaste conduct accompanied by fear. Keep in mind what the status was in the first century. The women among the Jews weren't held as high as we hold them today. There were, I think the general Jewish person loved their mother. I don't know how you keep from it really. But as far as the conception of women in general, they were inferior to men among the Jews. Same was true among the Gentiles, though at this particular time the women were kind of getting control in Rome. But at this time among the Jews, some of the philosophers, they prayed that they thank God that they weren't born a slave or a woman, stuff like that. I don't know if that was the general thinking of all people, but there was a rule that is advocated, and the language can be misconstrued, but it was delivered in the way it was delivered in order to make it palatable. It's not that women are slaves. We just talked about slaves. Women are not slaves. That was never the intention at all. And you'll see that in Peter's writings. Anyway, let's look at what we got. Be submissive to your husbands. They're the head of the family, head of the household, whatever. So therefore, submit to their authority in that role. That even if some husbands do not obey the word, the gospel, they, without a word, without the wife speaking a word, which she may not have been able to do at the time, they may be won by the conduct of their wives. I think that most people are converted by the conduct of other Christians. I've always believed that. I don't necessarily think that preachers convert people. I know they take credit for it. But most anybody that I've ever had come forward, maybe something I said may have pricked their heart or something like that. I don't know. But I think most of the time it's because of what they already know and something they may have done wrong, or because of somebody they work with, or someone that they may come to church with as a friend, as a visitor. But this person was influential in the life of this non-Christian, and because the individual won them over by the way they conducted themselves, this person decided to come to church with them. And they were probably had it in their mind they wanted to be a Christian, and when an offer was presented to them, they decided to take advantage of it and become a Christian. I think that's the way most of it works. I've never kept up with how many people I baptized. I have no idea, but because I never believed I did it. I always believed it was a community effort, more or less. The wife, whatever men may have thought of their wives, the wife had so much influence on their husbands that by the way they lived, without saying a word of the gospel to them, by the way they lived, the husband decided he wanted to have what she had, and then he would pursue it. Apparently that happened quite often, and that's what Peter's talking about. By your very conduct, somebody could be won to Christ, and that's what a godly wife can do. If she's married to a man that's not a Christian, or if she's married to a man that is a Christian and he's not acting like one, the conduct of the wife can be so powerful that this man might turn to God just because of her. It's a wonderful thing to think about. And Peter's telling them, be a good wife, be a godly wife, be a good wife, and see if you can't win your husband over to Christ by doing so. So they may be won by the conduct of the wives when they observe your chaste conduct accompanied by fear. The word chaste there, properly clean, in a figurative sense, it means innocent, modest, perfect, chaste, clean, pure. That's according to Strong's Greek and Hebrew dictionary. Do not let your adornment be merely outward. Makeup. He's not saying it's wrong. Notice what he says. Do not let your adornment be merely outward, only outward, okay? He's not saying it's wrong to wear makeup. He's not saying it's wrong to wear jewelry. But don't depend on these things to make you attractive. Do not let your adornment be merely outward, that is, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. He's not condemning doing those things. Don't count on those things to make you attractive. There are ways to be much more attractive than outward beauty, okay? The adornment, of course, is what we just discussed. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. The hidden person of the heart, the spirit. Let it be the godly spirit that people see. The godly woman that people see. The woman that Solomon talked about in Proverbs 31, the worthy woman or the virtuous woman. Let it be like her. It's with the incorruptible beauty, it doesn't fade, it doesn't tarnish. You wear gold, it tarnishes. Makeup, you take it back off. Everything like that is temporary. But the beauty on the inside is incorruptible. It's gentle and a quiet spirit. By quiet, a spirit that's at peace, not one that never talks, but one that's not really mouthy, that overloads a conversation or something like that. But she's a gentle woman. She's a consoling woman. She's the kind of woman that makes you feel better when you feel bad, okay? I mean, this can be not only for the husband, this can be for anybody. Some women, they've got that touch, a very gentle touch, and they're very soothing. A woman has this uncanny ability to be very comforting in the middle of a dark day. I think that's one of the things that makes mothers so popular. They got that touch. I'm not saying men don't have. Men are more crude, rude and stuff like that. I know there's a big difference between me and BR. I'm gentle and she's rough, but no, I turn that back around. She had the touch. If you don't believe me, ask her kids. When they wanted something, where's Mama at? I told them before, this is no joke. I said, hey, I'm Daddy. I'm the head of the house. I can make decisions around here. Oh, yeah, we know that. But where's Mama at? Always had to be Mama. Let it be the hidden person of the heart with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. God loves this in his daughters. Not only does God love it in his daughters, but the public at large loves it in a woman. A brutish woman isn't appealing. There's some guys, they're freaks. They like that stuff. But the general public, no, that don't fly. They like attractive woman. Now, when I say attractive, I'm not talking about the outward beauty. That means nothing if you're ugly on the inside. They got well, I shouldn't say that, I guess. They got some people on television that are beautiful. That's why they're there, because they're beautiful. But in the real world, they're ugly. They live, like a tramp, I guess you'd say. And I don't know how other guys feel. I think most people might feel like me. But I don't find that attractive. It may look good at first, but when you find out, they're living like a dog, everything just falls apart. It's not pretty anymore. A pretty woman is a good, clean, honest, wholesome person. I think they're very attractive. I always have. It's the inside that we go by, not the outside. And women, I know it's hard to think that way, but I think that's the way it is, at least with the people that count in your life. The ones that have to have something else, don't worry about them. In this manner, in former times, holy women who trusted in God also adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands. Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, if you do good and are not afraid with any terror. She called him Lord. That's not the same as calling him Lord like we call Jesus Lord. The Lord was a term of submission, I guess you'd say. Your boss at work, well, I hate to use that term, boss, but your boss at work you would call Lord, okay? Anybody that ranked higher than you. And in God's order, the order, Jesus, man, woman, okay? We know the order. And the woman is under the man. Therefore, Sarah would call Abraham Lord, noting that he was the head of the house. The head of the house, that's what it noted. Okay, he was the head of the house. It doesn't mean she looked at him like Christ. Nothing like that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, she got on to him a few times, if you remember. She was a typical wife, Abraham was the head of the house and Sarah was the neck. I mean, it's like everybody else. These people, I mean, they're no different. I mean, some of them were godly, some of them weren't, but they're just like us. they put their breeches on one leg at a time. In this manner, in former times, holy women trusted in God. They adorned themselves that way, submissive to their husbands, as Sarah did. And if you are like Sarah, and are not afraid with any terror, you will be a pleasing thing in the sight of God also. Any questions over that? I'm happy to blow by that real quick. It's not a term of inferiority. We know it's not. What's the difference between a male and a female? Well, let's forget the male and female. What's the difference of the spirit living in the male body and the spirit living in the female body? Which one ranks higher? Neither one. Out of the body, they're equal. The only thing that makes a pecking order is because they're in a body, and somebody has to be the head of the house. And Adam, because God chose Adam, I don't understand his thinking, but I know God's always right. But he chose Adam, and that's the way it's been ever since. And that's the way it is. But it's not ugly. It's not an inferior thing. It's not a nasty thing. Like, God, you're the most precious thing on earth. Ask any child, and they'll tell you about their mama. Daddies are good too. I'm not undermining daddies. I'm one of them. But hey, let's face it, man, they like mamas best. And that's okay. They're the ones that sit with them when they're sick and all that stuff. Husbands, likewise, dwell with them with understanding, giving honor to the wife as to the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers may not be hindered. Now, this is all logical stuff. That's why I'm moving so quickly. Likewise, dwell with them with understanding. Try to understand their plight in life. Try to understand their dilemmas. Try to understand their feelings. Try to understand where they're coming from. The husbands, some of them weren't given to doing that. Some of them might have been. But if you weren't given to doing it, start doing it. Try to understand your wife. Don't just turn her off and shut her up and shut her down. Listen what she has to say. There's value there. There's wisdom in those words, man. Don't pass them up. Listen and understand the best you can. And then you give honor to the wife. Honor, what does that mean? You defer to your wife. You give her preference over yourself. If a man's what he ought to be, his wife comes first and he comes second in his life. Well, he comes less than that. He got kids. He's ranking 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever he's got. But the wife always comes first in his estimation. That's the way it's supposed to be. And that's one of the things that makes this relationship so attractive and so successful. While the wife is earnest in trying to help the husband function within their home, the husband in turn places a higher estimation on his wife than he does his own self. She'll come first without saying that. You give her honor as to the weaker vessel, not weaker between the ears, weaker in the arms. Now, they say today that the women and the men are equal in sports. You know that's crazy. Men are stronger. They're physically stronger. Every now and then you get a woman who comes out looking like Hulk Hogan or something. You know, that's a fluke. That doesn't happen all the time. In general, women are just physically weaker than men. That's the way we're made. Men are usually bigger. They got bigger bones. They got bigger muscles. God made us that way because of the way he arranged the family. The man was going to work. He was going to labor to bring in the bread, and the mother was going to be in the home to cook the bread and take care of children. So the husband was made stronger. So you give honor to your wife, realizing she is a weaker vessel, and as being heirs together, both of you working together like a team like a pair of mules pulling together to be heirs of the grace of life. Why? That your prayers may not be hindered. If a man isn't willing to do his part in this relationship, he may find himself praying to God and God not listening to him anymore. And that's something you can't afford to do. The thing is, if you don't do it, you're going to fall out of grace with me. That's what God's saying, basically. It's a must on the part of the man. So the woman's role, the man's role, one complements the other. It's not something that's ugly. It may sound weird to our ears because we're used to all this nonsense coming out of these feminists, but it's not nonsense. It's a good arrangement. I don't think women should be ashamed because the Lord values her as much as he does the man. No difference. Number 6, duties of Christians to one another, verses 8 through 12. Finally, all of you be of one mind, having compassion for one another, love as brothers, be tenderhearted, be courteous, be of one mind, talking out of the same book, singing out of the same hymnal, however you want to say it. The mind of Christ. All of you have the mind of Christ. If we have the mind of Christ, we're going to have the same mind, right? There'd only be one mind if we all have the mind of Christ. That's where religion today is so wrong. We're not all of one mind. The Christian religion, anything called Christian, we should all be saying the same thing, but we don't. We are so different, it's spooky. And you got the world looking at what's called Christianity, and they think we're a bunch of crazy people. Because we can't get along, we teach different things, we don't know what our core beliefs are, and it's just one big mess. Now, whose fault is that? It's the fault of men. People have done it. It's humanity's fault. Number one, you've got men who have taught these false theories and called it from God. Number two, you got people that didn't read to see whether or not they were telling the truth. They believed what they said because they said it, and they fell for it. The blind leading the blind. And what did the Lord say? They are both going to fall into a ditch. Christianity today, if you imagine yourself being a person who knows nothing about Christianity, you live in New York City. How are you going to learn about the Christ? Somebody said, well, pick up your Bible and read it. People don't do that. Somebody tells them. They go to somebody. They go to a preacher. If they don't like this preacher, they go to another preacher. The right thing to do would be to read the Bible. But that's not what people are accustomed to doing for the most part. And let's face it, even if they did read it, would they really understand it? It took me years to understand. Matter of fact, I'm still trying to understand it. It's not the easiest book in the world to understand without somebody to guide you. So what do? I can't imagine being in that dilemma. How do you make a choice, a decision? It is so convoluted. How do you know what to do? I feel so sorry for people today trying to find out what's right and what's wrong. But as for the church, as for all of you, the church, you be of one mind, having the mind of Christ, of course. Have compassion for one another. Compassion, oh my, what a jewel. Compassion. When a brother or sister errs, I'm talking about our brothers and sisters, when they err, instead of finding pleasure in it, we should be grieved by it. For their sake, for the sake of the Lord's body, for the sake of the ramifications, depending on how bad it was, we've got to have compassion. Because the truth is, we all sin. And I must say this, and some sins are bigger than other sins. I know sometimes people jump, oh no, all sins are, but some sins are bigger than others. Man, murder is bigger than throwing your paper on the ground. You know, both of them wrong. You're littering, that's wrong. But there are some sins that are weightier, to use Jesus' word, some sins that are weightier than others. And maybe we haven't committed a weighty sin where the whole world knows it. But we've committed sin. And the result of our sin is the same as the result of a weighty sin. The wages of such sin is death. Maybe they did something worse than I've done. I don't know. Maybe they did. Okay. But I should have compassion. I should feel sorry for them. I should grieve because they've been separated from Christ by their sin. I should be compassionate because they have to put up with what other people say about them. They have to tolerate all the backbiting, the gossiping that goes on. Yeah, they made a mistake. They were unfaithful. And everybody knows it. Can you imagine how hard it is for the Christian lady to raise her head again? It's so hard. But we got to have compassion because they hurt. Maybe they got mixed up somehow. Maybe they lost their mind for a few minutes. I don't know. I know Paul said he sinned and he didn't know why he did it. He just knows he does. Maybe that happened. I don't know. It's not me to judge. It's my place to have compassion and let the Lord do the judging. Instead of talking, I should put my arm around this person and try to console them. I should try to help them find their way back into grace with God. Without compassion, man, we're nothing. If we can't muster up compassion, we've got a problem. We're a long ways from being Christ-like. And that just isn't going to fly. Love his brothers. Love one another. It's the term one another will imply reciprocal love. I love you, you love me. What is the love? It's agape love. It's to do good. It's the will to do good. I want to do good to you, and you ought to want to do good to me. That's the love that Peter's talking about. Be tender-hearted, where the heart can be touched. Can feel compassion. Can shed a tear for someone who is really in a hard place. These are the emotions we need to learn to be capable of. And we will if we value the spirit of people and if we value especially the spirit of God's children. We are going to be emotionally affected by just about everything. And be courteous always to one another. Now then, the other side, the difficult side. Not returning evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, blessing, knowing that you were called to this. What were we called to right there? To not return evil for evil, reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless those who have been evil to us. We have been called to have this attitude, this mindset. This is a great challenge for some people like me. It's the mind of Christ, and I have to admit I'm weak in this area. I still got a temper sometimes that I shouldn't have, but I do. And I don't like that in myself. And one of these days, I hope I will conquer it. We'll see. But for now, that's my battle to fight. We were called to this type of an attitude, and in accomplishing it, at least striving to accomplishing it, trying to accomplish it, we can inherit a blessing from God, which is what we, of course, pray for. For he who would love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit. Now, these aren't just words. These are instructions that we're supposed to follow. If you would love life and see good days during your life, then you've got to control that tongue. Refrain from speaking evil, and your lips from speaking deceit. Let him turn away from evil. Let him do good. Let him seek peace and pursue it. Why? For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous. The Lord is always with us, not to stalk us, but to protect us. The eyes of the Lord are always fixated on the righteous. His ears are always open to their prayers, but the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. We are children of God. Let's not let it be in title only, but it needs to be in the way we live, in the way we treat one another, in the way we treat others. Imitating Christ, the mindset of Christ. This is our goal and objective. I think, are they going to come back now? Yeah. I'm going to stop because I got a good stopping place right here. Are there any questions over what we discussed? I went over it fast because it's actually a logical little section, but I think you understood it before I even started talking.